Well, good evening. We have a great crowd already. Welcome, everybody, to another Sunday night level up. Let me get this slid over here. All right. I'm going to do my new chroma key bowl, heart chakra bowl. Get us tuned in here. I have a heart chakra story for sure that we're going to tell tonight. How are you guys doing? Everybody okay? How have you been handling this energy this week? Has been super intense, and we're going to go through it. In fact, I'm going to show some charts tonight because the energy that's above our heads is significant. And riding the wave of that energy, something incredible took place in my own life last night that just makes my chart and life and everything kind of makes sense. Anita says it has been so intense. Sure has. Hi, Jeannie. Neighbor down the road. Brittany, good to see you as always. Okay. Let me see if I can see who that is. I can only catch those. That's Corky. Okay. All right. Well, and this is Sarah. So hi, Sarah, while you're here. Good to have you while you're here. All right. She's over in look at that. Okay. Eastern North Carolina. And hello, Hawaii. Glad you could join us middle of the afternoon. Hi, Patrine. Good to see you. Oh, wow. Cool, Mary. Glad you're here. Thanks for joining us. Love that picture of that beautiful little boy. Yeah. Caught Sarah. Hi. Hey, Riley. Hi. How are you tonight, Riley? Glad you could sit in and watch with your mom tonight. That's fun. Awesome. Great. Uh-oh. Wow. Crazy energy. Hello, Lynn. We're going to talk about Lynn here in a little bit. Lynn and I had a session this afternoon. All right, let's get into this because there is quite a bit that I want to cover and just tell you a story, kind of what's going on in the energy right now. So to do that, let's see. Let's set up, actually, yeah, let me do this one first. I'm flying a little bit limited tonight because my punch box, I don't know, they updated a plugin or something and it's not punching. So I'll have to fix that this week. This is the chart. And I know a lot of you don't know astrology, and that's fine. Don't worry about it. I should have drawn these in here. Can you find the sun? It's in the lower right, down about the 4 o'clock position. This is actually the sun overhead right now. I cast this for 8 p.m., so when we started. So there's the sun. That's down in the sign of Scorpio. That little blue M with the arrow coming off of it is Scorpio. And we all know what Scorpio means. It's play the Darth Vader music. It's, the dum, dum, da, dum, dum, da, dum. We're going deep. We have darkness. There is stuff to explore if we dare. Now, who's in there with Scorpio? Well, on the right, the green one is Venus. On the left is Mercury. And then that horseshoe upside down is the south node of the moon. That's significant because that represents our soul path. It represents particularly things from the past that we did not either complete, resolve, we left undone, but particularly under the guise or the presumption that we brought it into this life in order to resolve it. It's not just a hangnail, it is here for a purpose. And it's up to us to find that purpose and to work on it. Now, follow the red line just directly across the chart. So go up to about the 11 o'clock position, you'll see the moon. The moon tomorrow morning will cross from the sign that it's in now, which is Aries, into Taurus. Taurus is the opposite sign in the chart from Scorpio. There's our full moon, and there's our eclipse. So the moon, where you see it now, is going to quickly move over to the other horseshoe that's facing down, and it is sitting right next to Uranus, the planet of sudden surprises. Now, if you can go up, I'm going to show you one more point. And if you go up to, what would it be, about 130, you'll see a planet sitting up there that has 18 degrees right below it. You see that? Up about the 1 o'clock, maybe 2 o'clock position. That's Saturn. And Saturn in astrology is kind of known as Lord Karma. There are several pictures of Saturn, several images, but Saturn is sitting right there watching all of this that's going on right now, saying there is karmic business to be done, ladies and gentlemen, and I am here to make sure that you get it right, or that we bump you back into alignment if you are, well, depending on your soul path, let's just say. So that's why when you say the energy is off the charts right now, that's why you're feeling it. That's exactly why you're feeling it. All right. I want to get caught up on just a couple of things here. Hey, Melissa, glad you're in. Arnaldo is in Sebastian Vasque County, Spain. You are just in the best places in the world. And my goodness, your pictures on YouTube or Facebook are like wowzer. Gene, I've got a story for sure. We are going to talk about it here. What about free will? Good question. Always comes up in astrology. Is that fixed or is it free will? I like to think of it as Google Map for your soul. Okay. If I put up Google Map and I set a route, does that mean I have to take that route? Do I have choice? See, we're looking at a map. And these astrologers that come up, Kathy, I'm so glad you asked that. It is such an important question whenever we talk about this, because people think that it's fated. And I will tell you, there are amazing things that happen and unfold that are symbolized in that chart. And every kind of way that I've ever looked at it, seen it, felt it, talked to other people about it, etc., is that it's a reflection. So as above, so below. So sometimes it does reflect miraculously exactly what's going on. But in these things, just like what I'm talking about here tonight, we have the choice to get it right or not. And listen to my example of what happened under this energy. See, I'm talking about here is collective energy. What I'm talking about in the chart right now is that if you read the forecast in the morning and it said that it's going to be 37 degrees, light snow, not sticking, and afternoon spitting rain that might be a little bit icy, you're going to bundle up. Take a scarf, take gloves, maybe a little something in case there's an accident on the freeway and you have to sit in your cold car with it turned off. You might have an extra coat that you throw in for road emergencies. Weather looks. Now, does that mean that where you are, that it's going to rain in that particular geography of the route from your house to work? Maybe, maybe not. So we prepare, or we, in my case, in this story, surf. So I saw that this energy was reflecting several things. One is, if we go back down to Scorpio, down there around 4 o'clock, deep, deep work, like digging up stuff that has been buried for a long, long, long time. Also, saw Venus down there. That's feminine. So perhaps something around feminine energy. Scorpio is a feminine sign. And then with the Taurus across from that, very grounded, very earthy, very wanting to resolve in a way that plants both feet firmly in a new position. So that's what I saw. We did a fun astrology podcast on that on Thursday, and that was the topic. And sure enough, I mean, this is exactly what happened. Now, let me get my slides reset because we're going to go back, because on Tuesday, we have an eclipse in the sky. So what is an eclipse? And I just wanted to show you this because a lot of people don't realize what's happening up there to cause this phenomenon of either the Earth casting a shadow across the moon, which is going to happen on Tuesday, or vice versa, which we had on October 25th, where the moon casts a shadow on the Earth. So we have the sun and we have the rotation around the sun. And we have the Earth, and the moon rotates around the Earth, orbits around the Earth, right? So those two things are always happening. Well, the moon's rotation this is a different and a little bit more projected demonstration of the same thing. This is the moon's tilt. Let me show you. Let me go here. The moon is tilted 5 degrees from the orbit of the Earth around the sun. 5-degree difference. And that's separated, as you can see in that left-hand slide, moon's orbit and ecliptic. The ecliptic is the Earth's path around the sun. The moon's orbit around the Earth is tilted. So what happens is, as this rotation is taking place, there are 2 points of time during the year when, as you can see by those ones that are connected there by the red line going down through the middle, that let's say the latitude or the declination, the up and down position of the sun, the moon, well, the sun stays, but the Earth and the moon are aligned in such a way at the same latitude that shadow can cast. The other times during the year, as they are moving around month to month, it's tilted. And it's tilted just enough that you don't have a shadow cast. It is being cast. It just doesn't land on either the Earth or the moon, if that makes sense. So it really is a matter of, if you look at this, it really is a matter of just alignment. Are they in a line? That's an eclipse. Is the moon higher or is the moon lower on its 5-degree tilted orbit? See, it would go like that. It would go like this, it would come up, it would go down, and then it would go down like this, and then it would come back up. There's a year, okay? And those 2 points where it aligns, there's an eclipse, then there's not an eclipse, and then there's an eclipse. So that's what's going on in the sky. So everybody likes to get all excited about the eclipses because it's a phenomenon, and it's a really cool phenomenon. In my book, is it worth all the hype? It's a tomorrow or Tuesday, it's a full moon. We do them every month. It's a full moon with a shadow. And that's why, yes, the moon and the Earth are in alignment. Okay. Now, I did go back to 2013 and 14, which is the last time we had this and had an eclipse with the nodes of the moon exactly where they are now. Remember, we talked about them being in Scorpio and Taurus. So the nodes of the moon are right there with if you look again at 4 o'clock and up at about 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock, they are the horseshoe shape thing. That's the nodes of the moon. And what that is, that's not a body up in space. That's literally that point of intersection where the orbit crosses the ecliptic. That's the node. And every um, planet that has a moon has a node of that moon. It's not just our moon. But with that in Scorpio, the last time this happened was when I got the tap on the shoulder to do a podcast. And then I got the prompt when I was filling my water bottles to email Fred Dodson. So I'm kind of liking, I'm like, okay, well, that's good. If that happens this time, great, love it. So I'm just checking up on your notes here. So that's the structure that sets up this story. So I saw this energy on Thursday. I thought, wow, that's really strong. So it was acting on it. So I picked up the phone and I contacted two people. One was Stevie McGuire, who you met last week. She gave me the beautiful painting of my natal chart for my birthday. And then I called Lynn Schaefer, because both I knew could possibly work with expanding my wanting to dig deep into deep Scorpio stuff. Stevie is completing a hypnotherapy certification, and some of you have worked with her because she put a post in our Facebook group asking if anybody wanted a free session. So she's still working on the certification through the rest of this year, and I think she has a lot of your contact information, and she's still working through that list. So some of you will still be getting in touch. And here is one who has had such a session. Brandy, thank you. Glad you enjoyed it. Kathy, I'd like to just touch base back. And I know this is, we can't drill down on this too much here, but does that make sense what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm going with? Is all we're talking about is energy as above being reflected below, and then riding that energy depending on which way it's going. That's what we're talking about here. So, okay, good. She says yes. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure, because that is such a good question. And I don't for a minute, and the people I work with, including Steve Forrest and Robert Glasscock, do not for a minute believe that we do not have free choice. This is a guide. It's a map. Sometimes it's an amazingly, you just wonder how it all fits together. It's the most highly accurate weatherman or woman you've ever watched. Put it that way. So Stevie and I did a session last night, and I felt going into it that something was going to happen, but I had no idea what might come up. Now, those of you who have been into the podcast remember an episode back around January of 2020 where I told the story of the only other time that I've ever done a hypnotherapy session was in 2016. And it was the same thing. It was a guy by the name of Rob Mitchell. He's been in the podcast. He's a brilliant man, just a brilliant man. And he was going through a certification. So he said, could I do a reading with you? Sure. One of the things that came up during that reading was that I was beheaded. Long time ago. My soul, not me, my soul. All of this is not this one, another one. And that was quite a shock. It was an awakening. But I knew that I always had this fear paradigm. Well, in 2020, I got the rest of the picture of that. And I want to be judicious and careful here, so maybe I should just refer you back. I'm just feeling like I shouldn't tell the rest of the story, but it was a more gruesome experience than just originally stated. And here's the deal. Once I understood that in the context, the podcast is January 2020. You can go back and listen to it on Subconscious Mind Mastery. Once I understood that, my whole internal fear paradigm went away, just like that. I'm not kidding. I don't get on here and tell you funny stories, right? it literally, in the course of about an hour and probably 15-minute walk, by the time I got back from that fear that had driven me for all those years was gone, just by connecting with that episode. But then I could understand it. Because, I mean, look, if you're and you come back and that's not resolved, that's still open, that's a south node thing, then you come to a place and by the way, a detail of that was that I was not guilty of anything. It was like what came up was that they wanted some of my property. They wanted either my wife or my farm or whatever I had that they wanted, but they very unjustly got rid of me, got me out of the way. Well, of course you would fear anything, anything. So the point is, here was the progression of this was, here was a past life regression that revealed something. The details of that helped in the moment, didn't resolve, but moved things, but then moved the timeline forward 4 years and fear disappeared. I mean, it completely shifted everything for me. Well, I kind of thought maybe that this would be a similar situation just because of the way that that chart looked. That chart was alive. So as everybody said, you know, this is sizzling energy right now. Yeah, deep stuff. So now I'm not one of those that would be hypnotized to say, you know, flap your wings like a duck, right? You know, kind of thing. I wouldn't be a good show bait type of person. I'm the one they would say, you in the blue shirt, you can leave. But as far as taking my mind out of the conversation and just going within, I am well practiced in that now. So that was more of the state. We got to the point, I'm going to hop over a lot of details here. We got to the point where she had led me down a river to a nice serene setting. Looked around, there was nothing there. She said, should we go deeper? I said, yeah, let's go deeper. Where deeper led was basically pitch black. In fact, I thought I had fallen asleep. I thought maybe Stevie had disconnected. I was probably, you know, because that happens. Especially toward the end of the day, I can conk out pretty fast. And I thought, well, maybe maybe I didn't hear her. I had ear things in, and I couldn't hear her, and I thought, well, it's very likely I could have just, and you know, after 20 minutes, she'd probably say, good night, Thomas. No, that wasn't the case. It wasn't the case at all. It had led me truly out of my conscious mind now and into this place of blackness. Now, let me back up. I got a little bit ahead of the story there. On Thursday, I did the chart that I showed you on the Fun Astrology podcast. On Thursday afternoon, Brielle Keller sent me a reading that she had done with some cards. And she said that it was very strong, especially around, she said 2 words, betrayal and disappointment on the feminine side. Well, when she told me that, I knew exactly that we were radaring in on one of my resolved issues. In fact, Venus issues for me, money, and that area, I knew in the work that I've done and just looking at the list, you know, check, 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 no check, check, check. Money and relationship were still 2 open items. So she sent me this reading that flagged me to be looking for that. And then Venus was in the chart. We were in Scorpio. I was like, okay, this is just golden. And then on Friday, Francine Kavanaugh called, and she is actually now helping me with some editing work. So I have a closer contact with her. And she lives in Asheville, and she was part of our August trip group. she called and she said, I just was waking up this morning and something came to mind regarding you. And she told me to look back 10 years back and then all the way back to when I was 3. She said there were a couple of hot spots there that showed up in this for her. And she said, look, I'm a Pisces. I get some downloads. Well, that's two of the same thing. And especially that one at age 3, because, well, 10 years ago was the shift that I was talking about. And age 3 was really the first time that I connected with my spirituality. I've got the sun sitting right on top of Neptune. I mean, my life was wired for this spiritual path. That was the first time I connected with it. So I had those 2 ingredients going into this. So here we are, and I'm looking for the feminine thing from Brielle's conversation. So here in this darkness, what's there? Nothing. All of a sudden, as though a long, slow dissolve from black, came forward this misty feminine energy. Didn't have a shape or form, but I could tell it was feminine. So I leaned in and I connected with it. And I was at this point now dialoguing either as me talking to her or her asking back to me or responding. That's another technique that I've just used very successfully over the last decade. What it was there was the most incredible fear, angst, dread. I can't even imagine to keep describing. The best way, as I've told a couple of people about this, was if you picture that scene that you've seen in a horror movie of a young woman sitting in the corner of a room, her hair is stringy and she's got her knees up to her chin and she's just shaking. It was that kind of just scorpionic, right back to the chart, scorpionic. The scene was as close to literally hell as you could picture without the fire. This was dark, it was ugly, it was scary, and this energy was scared to death. I said, "What are you hiding from?" She said, the spirits, the evil ones. And what came from it was that there was the reason that she was hiding was of some revenge that had gone bad. And as you would have with Scorpio, sex was involved. It was dark. And then in the dialogue, we connected that her energy, her feminine energy, was my feminine energy. That was me. That was part of me. That was heavy. I was checking my breathing. I was checking my heart. I was checking to make sure I was okay. And I felt like, let's get out of here. So I told Stevie, I said, would you please guide me back away from this? Let's get out. And she did. We went back to a safe place. We went back kind of, well, first to a movie theater, but then kind of back to that serene river kind of thing. Back to some nature. Get back to, like, what am I going to do with this? And again, cutting the story short, I finally said to Stevie after some time of reprieve, I said, let's go back in again. There was work to be done. I said, let's go back. So she took me back in and I reconnected. And I'll tell you, I did what we do here and what we've been doing here since last August. I just said to that energy, to that piece of me, I said, if we move to the light, then they can't get us. They won't ever touch you. You'll be safe. You'll be in a bubble of protection. if we go to the light. But we have to get out of this darkness. And there's a lot of tears flowing here, I'm telling you. And she said, let's go. And Stevie did a brilliant job, even as young as she is in her training, of just instantly clicking in and taking it and let's get out of here. It's like the door's open, run. And she guided us into the light, into the safety of the bubble of protection of love and acceptance and everything that we do in here to escape that darkness. What that did, just as instantly as the fear went away, is it activated for the first time in 63 years and what would it have been? 6 days. I found my feminine side. First time ever. It had been buried in Scorpio's hell all these years. This morning, my quiet time over here, I asked, you got to understand, this is as giddy as a teenage relationship. I have something I haven't had all of my life. And you know the line, you don't know what you don't know? I didn't know that I didn't have it. No idea. And so I'm speechless. I'm giddy. I'm, like a kid. And in the reflecting this morning, I just said, is there anything you can tell me? Because, and I just, in the context of, fear got released so quickly, just seeing into it a little bit. And I mean, silence. And I asked one particular question. And that was the answer. And I'm not going to go there. It's too dark. I said, was this before the beheading or after the beheading? She said it was after it. I said, what happened? She said that the soul was so angry at the men who took my life. I'm saying it wasn't me. You know what I'm talking about, right? That soul was so angry. That soul, which is now my soul, was so angry that it came back as a woman to taunt and torment sexually those men, but it spun out of control. And there was death, and there was suffering, and there were, it was extended beyond just the men. And that's what that energy was so low. That energy of revenge was so low that that confinement was the result. It truly was, if you would say, demonic. Long, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and many incarnations since. So I just said, okay, I understand, and I don't need to know more. So then I looked at my chart, and I'd like to show you that. This is my natal chart. And if you look down there, it's the same place, remember? Oh my gosh. Down there at that 4 o'clock position, there are what I call my Marson tune. That's the Mars is the red one, Neptune is in the middle, and then the sun, all in Scorpio. And look at the degrees that they are in. 6, 6, 6. This is that kind of thing where you look at a chart and you're speechless. I'd always laughed at that. I thought if my poor mother who was so fundamental Christian knew that she had given birth to this, or I would say like in an astrology reading, "Hi, I'm Thomas. Welcome 666," kind of thing. It's like and just play with it. But no, look at it. It painted the picture of a piece of me was in Scorpio hell symbolically. And then if you look over, gosh, I thought I had highlighted these guys. I'm so sorry. I remember highlighting them. I don't know what happened to these slides, but come over to about 7 o'clock and you'll see a planet there that looks like it kind of has a bowl or a ball resting inside of a bowl. And there's a 5 degrees by it. That is Pluto. And Pluto right there is in the sign of Virgo. And then look to the right. Ah, our friend Venus, also in Virgo. And one of the things about astrology is the way you interpret this is Venus does not like being in Virgo, just some alignment stuff. It just doesn't like it. It's not happy there. It doesn't do well there. Pluto, the modern ruler of Scorpio. So, what this chart says is that it was a depiction that my feminine side, my Venus, was entrapped in Pluto's hell. And there's a little blue line connecting Pluto to the 3 planets over in Scorpio, and it's got a star right in the middle of it. That says that if I did the work, Kathy, here we're back to this question. If I so chose, that the alignments in my life would eventually work out where I could release the maiden from the prison of Pluto's hell. And you guys know from the Subconscious Mind Mastery podcast that my life hadn't been easy, but it's not. I mean, a lot of people's lives haven't been easy, but it's been a struggle. And the whole thing was crafted to give me the opportunity to set her free and to be able to do it. There's warrior symbolism with my South Node. It's in the sign of Aries. That's very much a warrior in the past. It needed a warrior, all masculine, a spiritual warrior. Go back, because there's right between the sun and Mars down there at 4 o'clock, there's Neptune, the green one in between with the 3 forks, the pitchfork. That's Neptune. Spiritual. I came in wired for this spiritual battle to be able to go into the depths of hell and release a part of myself that had been trapped. And you guys know too, if you've been listening to me for any time at all, that I have a marker in the sand of January 12th, 2020, when Saturn and Pluto aligned in the sky. And that began an epic shift in consciousness, including yours and mine. And it was under Saturn Pluto. And I asked her this, and she said we had to wait until Saturn Pluto. And you don't think that she is not just ecstatic. So then there was this. I told Brielle, because listen, if you ever get a reading from somebody, and I told Stevie too. Well, Stevie was there, but I told her the after effects of the stuff that came up this morning. If you ever get a reading from somebody and something big comes up, as Paul Harvey would say, tell them the rest of the story. It helps them as readers gain confidence, know that they were reading the right thing, that they were giving you good information, but always giving feedback as you get new information after the session is over. So I wanted Brielle to hear the story. She had no idea. As it turns out, she herself was in a breathing class last night at within 30 minutes the same time, going through a major transformation. And Sean was working. So she said, one of the things she said after I told her the story today, she said, build her an altar. And she said, I'll set one up for you here. And remember, they live in an RV down in Florida. I'm like, how do you have all this stuff in an RV? I need lessons. Look at how beautiful this is. Look at all the little things that she has in there. And she said, do all kinds of things. Take her on a date. Buy her special things. She said, maybe you want to buy her some crystal or some jewelry. I said, oh, not a microphone? I said, look at this beautiful new Sennheiser. It's all yours. You'll enjoy it so much. No. Look at how beautiful this is. Look at the art here. Look at the femininity of this. Just beautiful. So I have a lot to do and a lot to unpack. But I wanted to tell you that so that hopefully you could understand, number one, how powerful this energy is that we're under right now. And it stays with us right on through the eclipse. So if something comes up, that go into it. Be brave enough to go into it if you feel like you should. And there might be just some incredible healing on the other side of it. I do want to catch up with your comments. So let's do this real quick. And then we're going to get into a meditation geared toward releasing our feminine, honoring our feminine. It's going to be a feminine-based meditation tonight. So we'll get right to that here. So this is Kathy. She was asking about free will. She's saying that there's a past life issue with another person, and it shows in her Chiron placement in the chart, and this other person has soul work. That is very, very possible. You know, Kathy, that is so true. And I realized that looking back at some other things, that yes, there have been fractals. I like the word fractal, like a mirror image. Yes, definitely. Brittany, it was really incredible. Thank you guys for the love on this. It was hard. There were lots of tears. So, here's Brielle. Look at their family. I love that picture. 6 6s, you're going the wrong way or surrounded by love, a double-edged sword. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Just going to scan through these real quick. Oh, thank you for this. Let's see if I can see who that is. Felicity, thank you. Thank you very much. That's been the deal. And that's my commitment and agreement with you guys is just to share the stories. And so let's do a meditation and let's call on our feminine sides. And you might be, as many of you are, female. Um, and you might be very strong in that area. If you are, then send support to those of us who need that energy. Use your strength. Give it out like Brielle has here. But there might be wounds, maybe from a mother, maybe from a child, where the relationship somehow got off track. Who knows? Or you might be like me and think, wow, maybe it's more dwarfed than I realize. Let's see what we can do to open that up. So let's honor the feminine now. I'm going to close my eyes. It just helps me focus. I'm going to, like Hemant was talking about, focus right here on the third eye, center of the forehead above the eyebrows. And whether there's intense pain there or not, I think a really good place to start is by expressing gratitude for our own mothers. Some are gone, like mine. Some are alienated. Some are, you text every day, multiple times. Honor your mom. She gave you life. And you could even think about, in the context of what a lot of you were just saying, this life reflects. If you had mother issues like I did, look into that. This is very strong healing energy, guys. That's why I told you that story. It's very strong healing energy. If mom is gone and there were unresolved issues, you can work on after the meditation tonight get your journal out and start cleaning them up. You can do it. You'll be surprised if you will sit with your journal after this, what might come up. I think next, let's thank the universe for Venus and all that she represents. Love, beauty, beautiful altars, beautiful decorations, beautiful appearances, balance, money. I thought about that this afternoon. Feminine energy. Wow. Think about that. Thank the universe for Venus. And both signs are important. We need the masculine. We need the feminine. We need to honor each for what they are. They're both beautiful. They're both necessary. I think our society has gotten off track in both areas. So let's honor both, but we're focusing on the feminine. Thank you for the beautiful blend of masculine and feminine in this existence called Earth. And now, why don't you just focus on your feminine side for a second? That piece of you that, whether you're a guy or one of our ladies, can you feel her? Does she have a voice? Is she saying anything? Is there a sensation? I'll tell you what mine is saying is love, gratitude, wanting protection. This side of me is still scared, scared to go back to the past. That was why I contacted Lynn. I wanted to close the doors back. That's her work, sealing up old portals that don't serve anymore. She's counting on me now, and I'm not going to let her down. And we're going to have a lot of fun together. What is yours saying to you? Does she want to reach other women? Does she want you to be a mouthpiece of things that she has to say to speak into the world, but you've been holding back? Afraid? Too busy? Does she want reconnection with somebody? What's she saying to you? Your message. Capture it. You can work on it. You can work on it more after our time. Now, let's elevate our feminine sides. You know how we connect every week? Well, now we're going to connect our feminine energies together. So, as best you can, in whatever way you choose, you might want to reach out with your left hand or arm. That's the feminine side. When I was talking to Lynn, she asked, "Where is she?" And I said, "She's right here." And I pointed to the left. She was right there. Reach out. Let's connect our feminine energies together. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful picture. Libra in the sky, ruled or overseen by Venus. Beauty, harmony, balance, love. Yeah, there's another one. And as we're touching each other's, I'm touching my computer screen right now, as we're touching each other's feminine energies, Let that feeling of many people offering their feminine side to this meditation, feel that energy. And I'm going to invite my feminine side to do that for the first time in this incarnation. Enjoy it. It's safe here, now. And this whole thing that we do started with healing. When you were a kid and you got sick, who was there? Dr. Mom. Offer healing up through your feminine side to anyone who needs it. Let's pool our healing feminine energy, and you can go in there and grab it and take whatever of it you need tonight. Whether it's emotional healing, physical healing, financial healing, it's being offered in love, and it's free. Another depiction I'm thinking of is a beautiful angelic choir. Allow that feminine energy to sing. Hear the choir of angels. Such a beautiful sound. And the last thing of the feminine energy is love. You can't hold a baby and not experience love, I don't think. Maybe you can, I don't know. Not in this group. Feel that level of mom love energy now. There's nothing like it in the world. It's the highest form of the highest form. Feel that now. Send it up in together to our connection. So now we have healing energy. We have loving energy. We have beautiful energy. We have choral energy, angelic energy. Wow. Can you feel it? Keep sending it. Send that love. Send that love that only the feminine soul can send. And if you need to take some of it, it's there for you. Now, just best you can, give that little girl inside of you a great big hug. Tell her you love her. Tell her you're going to take care of her. She might be scared. She might need protection. Give her a hug. Tell her it's okay. And let her know that together we got this. And now let's give the world a great gift. All of that accumulated energy, let's send it up into the sky. Let's send it to where there's conflict tonight, so many places. Let's send it to the United States. It sure needs it. Let's send it up to the warring places who need peace. And something I don't think we've done the whole time, let's send it to Mama Gaia. Let's send it to the earth. Because we've not done the best job with the planet. And if we send her love, we'll clean up our own act as we send, hopefully, love so that other things get cleaned up too. Let's thank the earth for sustaining us. I didn't even think about that. Wonder how many people say thank you to the earth when they get up in the morning. New behavioral pattern here. It's hard to close this one out. Let's just say, and so it is. And let's close with 3 ohms together. And in fact, let's don't make them loud. Just breathing might be a little shallower at the moment. Let's just focus on that feeling and that energy. Take a deep breath in. I'm going to do it higher this time. And I'm going to count on you ladies to take it up higher. I wish we could hear all of you. Thank you to the feminine side for being so beautiful. love to the world, peace to the world, light to the world. And so it is. Well, guys, thank you. This has been a special night. It's been, I know, a little bit deep, a little bit unusual, but thank you. And thank you for letting me share that story and for receiving it, knowing that sometimes the work that we do is not all pretty, but it needs to be done. And right now, up over our head is some energy that can help you do that deep work. It's there. Guys, I just want to go sit with my journal. I kind of bet you do too. So thank you for creating a beautiful, safe space tonight. And as we go to bed, whatever we're doing, some are in Hawaii, you're not going to bed yet. But as we leave from here, I just wish you that continued harmony through the rest of the evening or day. And for those of you starting your day in Australia, I hope that this energy carries through. I love you guys. We'll see you online. We got a busy week, so lots of stuff that will be. Mary, glad you a little bit different this week, but thank you for being with us. And thank you, Arnaldo. The man gets up at 2:30 in the morning. He's in Europe. 2 in the morning he gets up, and now it's 3. So we're going to let you go to bed, my friend. Thank you. Love you. God, I love you guys. I appreciate y'all so much. Trying to catch up with Rhonda here. Hey, Robin. Good to see you. All right. Have a great week. Keep your energy high. Focus on that feminine side. And I'll see you next Sunday night. Love you.